A few days ago, the Federal Reserve launched their new payment system, FedNow. What does it mean? What happens next? Will they make you eat the bugs? FedNow is an instant payment system run by the Federal Reserve that collects information and can veto transactions, leading many to compare it to a CBDC. Coin Bureau put out a great YouTube video the other day calling FedNow a, quote, Trojan horse for a CBDC. The key difference being FedNow is only between banks, so it's only bank money, while a CBDC would also cover cash, so there would be no escape unless you stop using the dollar. The Fed's excuse for FedNow is that our current payment system is garbage. It takes days to move money, and you can't use it on nights or weekends, which is very 19th century of them. Economist George Selgin suggested this almost appears intentional, that they were running payments on horse and buggies, perhaps so they could justify this kind of centralization. So they could have just kept payments open on nights and weekends and called it a day. Of course, they did not do this, since every government failure is an opportunity for yet more control. So FedNow has been in the works for almost a decade, starting with the 2015 Faster Payments Task Force, made up of major banks, payment processors, and retailers like Walmart. In 2019, they announced the actual FedNow project, which is coincidentally right around the time the World Economic Forum announced its 2030 project to force global socialism on humanity, championed by a key player in FedNow, Lael Brainerd. FedNow development continued during the pandemic, with Brainerd herself announcing the features in a webinar: near instant payments, reporting those payments to the government, and the ability to limit or blacklist both accounts and individuals using, Brainerd promised, machine learning. I've mentioned recently the Fed's obsession with so-called friction tech to lock you into a failing bank, and the federal government has long sought a way to make universal basic income easy, since they want to buy votes and permanent parasites do, in fact, vote. FedNow would be a big step to centralizing such control of money. So what happens next? In the near term, expect a sharpening of the federal government's ability to surveil transactions, to harass people they don't like, in both cases a level up from the surveillance state we already have in today's banking system, the one Justin Trudeau used against his people. As for freezing you into a bank or universal basic income, both await crises that our ruling clowns obligingly deliver like clockwork. Future bank failures will surface the friction talk, while any jump in unemployment will be the bat signal for the professional activists and media and non-government organizations, which are government funded, to get working on that universal basic income. Governments have spent 50 years building a surveillance panopticon into our financial system, using tax avoidance and terrorism as the go-to excuse. And despite the Fourth Amendment clearly forbidding such dragnet surveillance, absent probable cause of a very specific crime, none of this stuff is popular among voters. CBDCs, for example, regularly score about 80% opposition, but they are obviously incredibly popular for governments seeking control. We could see a revival of the Fourth Amendment in America, but if not, the only way to stop these things is for voters to demand politicians stop it, and for elections to be clean enough that politicians actually listen. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.